Hey Ruthie, how's it like owning a dog?
Well, I haven't actually owned a dog in several years, but you know what was one of the most frustrating parts of owning a dog?
I don't know, I've never have had a dog.
So my mom's dog, he was a super picky eater. Like, we'd give him wet food and he'd only eat like a couple licks and then he'd go for whatever was on our plates. Luckily, he's a small dog, so it wasn't like a Marmaduke situation.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely helpful, but have you heard about Nom Nom?
Well, funny, I may have, but tell me more.
Nom Nom is fresh food made with whole ingredients, and it's actually backed by veterinary science. Fresh really means fresh at Nom Nom because you can actually see with your eyeballs what your dog is shoving down its throat. For example, you can actually see the proteins in vegetables, like beef, chicken, pork, peas, carrots, kale, and more.
Jeez, that dog's gonna eat better than I do.
Yes, I mean, don't you want your dog to always eat better than you do? I'm out here eating McDonald's like on a daily basis, which is not what I want to feed my dog if I had a dog.
And the funny thing is, I actually know how Nom Nom works. You tell them about
Wait,
your
who
pup.
are you?
Tell them about your pup, the age, the breed, the weight, allergies, and even its protein preferences. And they'll tailor a specific amount of individually packaged Nom Nom meals and send them straight to you. And then you can just store the meals in the freezer or fridge until mealtime. And they give you specific instructions on how to transition your dog from foods like kibble to always fresh Nom Nom for best results. You can watch your dog clean their dishes, dance for dinner, and just overall thrive.
Isn't it time to feel good about the food you're feeding your dog? You go to www.nomnomnow, all squished together, .com/reshoot, or use code ReShoot at checkout and get 50% off your first order plus free shipping. Plus, Nom Nom comes with a money-back guarantee. That means if your dog doesn't love fresh, delicious meals, Nom Nom will refund your first order. No fillers, no nonsense, just Nom Nom.
Nom.
Nailed it, first try.
Alright, now on to the show.
Magenta and purple, pink.
Yeah,
They don't exist. Magenta doesn't exist.
that is correct.
Purple doesn't exist also.
No, purple exists.
I
Pink
got
doesn't
a cold
exist.
open
No,
for you
pink
guys.
exists.
I got cold open for you guys if you want. How can Magenta not be real if Nick Cage is real? Welcome to Reshoot, amateurs in no suits. Too many movies to explore. Ruthie, Hector, and Ed, laughter till the end. Let's see something never done before.
Hello and welcome to Reshoot, an amateur's guide to good or film.
Hello, I am Ruthie.
I am.
Ed. We are two of your hosts. There is a third.
He's busy.
He's busy.
He's in the room.
He
but
is
busy.
in the room. He's not in the Speed Force right now.
No, he's outside of the bubble.
He's not on the cosmic treadmill.
Anyways, today
Today,
we watched.
well,
Well, not today. But
it wasn't
yeah.
today. Yes, we watched The Color Out of Space, and since we were just talking about it, let me explain it, right? Because I'm a graphic design. Color, my shit.
Color is your shit.
Color is my
Yes.
shit. Okay, so there's a spectrum of light that people can see.
Yes, the visible spectrum.
Yes.
It goes from red to kind of purple.
Yeah, so it goes from red to purple, and then past that, there was a color that kind of looks like red and kind of looks like purple, but we only have 3 cones in our eye, so we cannot perceive what this color is. It's kind of reddish, purplish, pinkish, brightish. It's magenta. Purple exists. That is a color that we can see. Pink is a color that we can comprehend. Magenta, it's kind of just mush.
It's just kind of like fill in the blank. Our brain
It's what
just
your
fills
brain,
it in.
yeah, it's what our brain can perceive. I've heard there are tricks you can do with your eye to almost see separate colors that aren't on the visible spectrum. Unfortunately, it's really hard to describe it because you don't have a name for the color.
Yeah, there's no describe red to someone who's blind.
I'll go one step further. What if the way that you perceive red is not the way that I perceive red?
Yes, I tried to explain this to one of my friends, and it literally took like 1 hour for him to finally understand what I was saying.
See,
Because like the number one thing is I'm saying is like this is pink to both of us, but you could see it more of a red, and I could see it more as a blue.
mhm.
And for some reason that just did not captivate in his mind that we call the same thing the same color, but we perceive it as a different color.
See, when I had this epiphany, I was talking with a friend of mine And he was like, yeah, I know. This is normal. I'm severely colorblind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's just crazy how, like, thinking about it, it's like, oh, it's red. But then my red could be different than everybody else's. And there's literally no way to know because, yes, we have cones in our eyes, but our brain could just fill it in with whatever the fuck it feels like.
Yeah.
My black could be your white.
No.
But we call it this. Okay, yes, okay. My red could be your green, but like.
But here's the thing that we do know.
But we still call it the same name.
Here's the thing that we do know. Red is one of the last colors that, it's one of the first colors that last or first when you're losing light.
When you're losing light?
In low light situations, red
is the last one you lose.
Yeah.
Because everything far away gets red shifted.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a longer wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then once you go past red, you get into the infrared. Which is not... It is called infrared. Infrared does not detect heat. That's thermal vision. Infrared is just more colors.
Yeah. Anyways, we've been talking about what the color out of space needs to look like. I think Ed and I have a consensus. It's magenta.
It's magenta, yeah. And it is in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Magenta.
Yeah.
Kind of?
It's like a pinkish magenta.
Yeah, pinkish magenta.
It's not like as harsh as a standard magenta is. It's slightly pinker. Yes. Which is how I pictured it.
Honestly, when I first read the story, I just pictured it as gray. That's because it's an undescribable, because I think I saw that Futurama episode where it was like 3 different art styles in one. Okay. And one was a black and white, kind of like I forget what the style of animation is, but it's like kind of like the Cuphead thing, but black and white.
Rubber hose.
Yes, rubber hose, and in that there's like a rainbow, but it's grayscale, and then Fry creates a new color, and there's like, Fry, you created a new color that is completely separate from all the others and is not a combination of any of the other colors. And it's like, it's gray. And I'm like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's why I pictured it mostly as just like a gray thing flowing out. Because, yeah, one of the things is like, in the story, they can't describe the name of the color, and even in the movie, they can't describe it, even though it's presented as a color that doesn't actually exist in real life.
That we have named magenta.
Yeah, it only exists in our brain.
Yeah, which
is awesome.
I mean, all colors exist in our brain. That's what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, colors aren't real in general.
Does your brain hurt
yet?
Yeah. Let me take a moment now to describe the movie to you, lovely audience. So, the movie The Color Out of Space, it opens with a character who we will soon learn his name is Ward. He's giving the opening monologue from the short story that the movie is based off of, talking about there's ancient legends in these hills, the people here are superstitious, whatever, what have you. And then it dives into the story proper. We see this girl. She will be introduced as Lavinia not Waitley. No, she's not Waitley. Walker?
What are their names?
Gardner.
Gardner, yeah. Lavinia Gardner.
Lavinia Gardner. She's doing she is Wiccan. It seems like the rest of her family's not Wiccan, so she's practicing this ceremony. She's asking the spirits to take care of her mother's cancer and to get them the hell out of this place. Young Ward walks up. Flashback Ward is older. He's like got gray hair. We see later. She's like, "What the hell are you doing here? This is my land. Fuck you. Get off." And he's like,
because he ruined her ritual.
Yes. And he's like, "What do you mean? The mayor said I could walk around here. Are you a hell? Are you the Greek? What is it? Hellion?" He asks her if she's Wiccan or if she's like Hellion, which is like more Greek base. I can't remember the word.
I don't remember that.
It's not super important, but it's just kind of built the two of them building a rapport, and he's like, he guesses the wrong one, and she's like, no. She rides home on her horse Comet, and we're introduced to the rest of her family. Nick Cage plays her father, Nathan Gardner. There's her mother, Teresa, her little brother, Jack, and I can't tell if
Older brother.
older brother. It is an older brother?
I'm pretty sure
Because she
it's an older
bosses
brother.
him around like he's a younger brother.
I know, but he's he's dunce also. He's a bit of a dunce.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like middle brother. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Probably middle brother.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember. Because in the short story, it was 3 sons. And none of them kept the same names. It was Thaddeus, Zane, and a third one whose name escapes me at the moment.
Which were I don't remember the.
I've
other
listened to
son's
that
name.
story a lot.
I don't
It's a
remember
good
the son's name though. One of them.
Ben. It's Ben.
Ben. Jack, Ben, and
Lavinia.
Lavinia.
Yeah.
And then Teresa and Nathan.
Nathan, because in
Yeah.
the book it's Nahum.
Nahum.
It's a biblical name.
Oh.
They had really old biblical names. Except for the wife. I don't know if the wife ever got named.
Dang.
Yeah. You're telling me a racist and an anti-Semite is also sexist? What?
He's an anti-Semite?
Yes. Very much so. And he married a Jewish woman.
What? How do you do that? Oh, the more I learn about this man.
You know what he named his cat, right?
Oh. I forgot about that. Why are some of the most artistic people some of the worst people? I feel bad liking H.P. Lovecraft because of this. Liking his stories and all that. Not him as a person, his stories.
I feel really bad for him. I pity him, honestly.
You pity him?
Yeah.
Why?
His inspiration came from his fear, and he kind of wore that on his sleeve as like a badge of honor. He never got to like enjoy his life. He had a really tragic short life because he spent his childhood basically in a one-room apartment with his father who died too soon and his paranoid mother. When he did finally get out of the house with his wife, it seemed like he liked her at first, but he couldn't learn how to adjust in normal society, and he ran away back to his aunt's, and he could never get out of his shell.
Dang.
Yeah. I'm fine with appropriating his work. And I say appropriating like just taking it and leaving him behind. But yeah, I genuinely. Sucks to suck, dude. You had a hard go of it. You're a racist. I pity him.
Yeah. I did not know he had such a tragic life, honestly.
Yeah.
I know his life was hard, but I didn't know it was
The man was scared of penguins.
Well, wow.
And he wrote there was another short story he wrote. It wasn't like a cosmic horror thing, but it was like this fear of being trapped and suffocated and frozen to death in a room. And it's because he found out about air conditioners and it freaked him out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. This guy just like, dang.
Yeah.
No wonder he came up with such weird stuff for like, just like common fears, I guess.
Yeah.
Or just like fear of the unknown. Because maybe a
He-
lot of it was from his mom being paranoid. And maybe there was some like paranoid ramblings that really impacted him.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Like
We're armchair psychologizing over here.
Yes, we'll stop that. Anyways,
Yeah. We'll leave that to Hector, our lovely third host, who is almost a professional psychologist.
Almost.
Wait, what?
Do you
I
want to
know,
come
but-
over here and give your
but-
2 cents
but-
on Lovecraft?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Because I gave my kind of like perspective on it.
What's your perspective?
I pity him.
His mom was racist too.
His parents were, but yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if I thought the racism for a second was all his own.
I
And I'm
mean,
like-
I think it was
I
like a
don't-
part of his parents.
I mean, he definitely made it his own with what he named his cat.
I think it was a cat. I think it was his dad's cat.
Oh, never. Jesus Christ.
And then let's not forget about one of his monsters' names.
Yeah.
It's now Shub Gigaroth,
Yes.
but
We're not going to say the
Yeah.
actual name. But I don't know really. I mean, do I feel bad for him? Yeah, like he was raised to be like this. At the same time, when you're an adult, you have a lot more experience. You meet new people. Well,
And he did
And he did.
start to, but he didn't fully do it.
Yeah, didn't he die right as he was starting to turn his life around a
He
little?
was starting to change his life. However, there was a moment in his time. He and his wife lived in Harlem, but she had to leave often for work. He didn't work. He was a house husband. And he couldn't take it because he was living next to a lot of Jewish people, a lot of black people, and he was freaking
I
out.
mean, it's Harlem. Isn't that like a predominantly
Especially
black?
at the time, it
Yeah.
was a predominantly minority neighborhood. But his aunts kept like coaxing him back. It seemed like it was a really unhealthy relationship where they were kind of controlling him. And eventually it worked. He left his wife, never spoke to her again, moved back to be in their care, and then he died.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. At the same time, like you make your own decisions as an adult.
Yeah.
And like I do pity him. I don't really feel sorry for him in a sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I say I feel sad for him. I pity him. That's like the best way I can put it.
Yeah, no, I think it's
like,
a fair point. I'm kind of with you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the break, y'all. I'm gonna go back to working on my.
Yeah, instead of us armchair therapists, we get the real therapist to armchair therapist.
He's still technically an amateur, though.
Also, actually, no. Wait. I can actually. No. I have to fix this before I get into some legal trouble. No, I am a student who is training to be a therapist. I can't. But no, so I had to come back to fix. I had to figure.
Well, also, I feel like you can say whatever you want about Lovecraft. He's not your patient. He's not your client.
Yeah, but like, I'm trying to have him. I'm trying to.
He's not doing marriage and family counseling. He ditched his wife. Fuck him.
There's a lot of marriage and family therapists who are divorced. The best one, the most popular one, got married. It took till his third marriage to stick, and that's because she was also a marriage and family therapist.
That's a weird statistic to bring up, Hector. Just saying.
Let's not. Don't make me come back.
No.
It's not like
Still
a majority. It's
I
just
know.
like a good amount.
Oh my
are,
gosh.
Broken up.
That's still.
It's not uncommon. It's not uncommon.
Okay. Anyways. He's not supposed to be in this episode at all. Anyways.
Okay. We're introduced to this family.
Oh my god, we're still there.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
We kind of get to know him at night, while Nathan and Teresa start to get busy. A strange meteor comes out from the stars, descends, lands in their front yard, freaks everyone out. Jack is screaming his head off. He's the baby of the family. His parents come down to comfort him. They go to see what the commotion is. There is a giant hole in their lawn with this magenta glowing rock. It's very hot. All of them comment about how horrible it smells. They decide to kind of wait until the morning. The sheriff comes by, the mayor comes by. They're all kind of poking it with a stick, being like, wow, this shit's really weird. And then all the gardeners are like, yeah, we're so sorry about the smell. The sheriff and the mayor are like, what smell? We don't smell anything. Also, the sheriff is named Amney Pierce, which, if this was the book, that would mean something. Because this is a movie, that is a throwaway reference. He is not important to the story. Yes, I'm salty about it. Ward comes by. He meets the rest of the family. Teresa and Nathan kind of clock the fact that Lavinia is low-key, like, crushing on him, which is weird because she's, like, 15. And he's at least 24.
He's like, what? He's
like a grown... He's a
hydrologist.
Yes, he is.
So he's, like, gone through university, so he's, like...
At the very least, he would be like 23.
Yeah.
But I think he's probably got his master's. He looks just like a smarty pants, so he's at least like
24, 25.
24, 25, 26. That's the lowest he could be.
Yeah. And Lavinia's
She's
like
15.
Ooh.
Like, ish.
Oh, dude. Oh my god. I just thought of this. Going back a little bit, but like, I think H.P. Lovecraft rolled in his grave when Ward was
cast
as a black. Ward is a black person.
I liked that, yeah. Just as soon as the movie comes on, it's like top
No,
right
no, no, no,
screen of-
not even the movie coming out. Just the casting and saying you got the part. Just
What? Nathan and Teresa clock that Lavinia is like kind of crushing on Ward, and Ward isn't like kind of fobbing off her flirtation.
Yeah.
And both of them are like, what the hell? Nathan's like, go put on some shorts or something. And then Teresa's like, or no, Teresa's the one who's like, go put on something. Nathan was like, you go back to the house.
Mm.
Yeah, they both get really slut shamey with their daughter.
I mean, it's
you
bad, but like
you can
it
tell.
happens.
You can tell it's because of the meteor though, because
Yeah.
immediately after they're like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
All of them start to become affected by the meteor in different ways. Jack is the most affected. He seems to be able to hear them, and he's the one who
in the
sees
well.
them coming out of the well.
Yeah.
The meteor, by the time, pretty much by the daylight, it has sunk further into the ground, and it's kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
And it migrated into the well. There's weird shit coming out of the well now. Throughout the movie, from this point on, you'll start to see these weird, beautiful flowers,
Mhm.
like in the front
And
yard.
the grass starts to change colors into
Purple.
pink. Everything else,
Yeah.
and then the
praying-
fruits.
The fruits, they get bigger. That comes in later. But
Yeah.
there's a creepy praying mantis with like weird. Normally, I was looking at a normal praying mantis face. They only have like the two main like eye bits, you know,
Mhm.
because you know how like flies they've got like a bajillion eye bits. This one had a bunch of eye bits. It almost looked like raspberries for eyes, which is not natural for praying mantises.
No, but they do have praying mantis. Still have a bunch of eye bits. They still have
but they're
eyes.
in like the one smooth shape.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
these ones look like raspberries.
Okay.
Real nasty. All of their madness kind of starts to affect them in different ways. Nathan kind of starts going like he gets really aggro.
Yeah.
Jack, like I said, he's hearing these voices. He's seeing all this shit. He gets headaches. Teresa, I'll go to Teresa. Lavinia seems the least affected.
Mm-hmm.
This comes into play later. Ben has a difficulty perceiving where he is and how time is passing. And Teresa is, well, all of them are having difficulty with technology. At one point, kind of in the middle of the movie, she actually cuts off one of her fingers.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
she's like chopping vegetables, and I love how like in most movies they do that just to tense and nothing happens, and then in this one, nope, she cuts off two of her fingers.
Yeah,
like actually.
Mm-hmm. And it was a good detail that they did it with the carrots, because they say that the amount of that's if you're like biting off fingers, but the amount of force that your teeth use to snap a baby carrot is the same amount of force it would take to bite off your fingers. And she's cutting carrots for dinner that night.
Yes.
Yeah, all of them are starting to have these kind of weird things going on. Ward comes back, he tests the water. He meets this guy named Ezra. Yeah, Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a cat named G-Spot, because apparently that's a funny name for a pussy cat.
Doesn't he say that she's hard to find also?
Yes. That's what clues Ward in to test the water. There's a scene that night after where he's camping and the lights go out and he's like, who's there? And there's like a lot of weird stuff in the shadows.
Yeah.
That's not in the book.
Nope.
I can go over the book afterwards, I guess.
Does the policeman getting swallowed by the trees, is that in the book?
No.
Okay.
So keep in mind, the sheriff was named Amney Pierce. In the book, Amney Pierce is the narrator of the story. He survived the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Throw away.
Because the staff, or the scientists, they came to this place, they were studying, they were investigating.
Yeah.
They find Amney told them everything.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, there were scientists that like looked into the meteor.
Yeah, because they were building a dam, and they were like, hey, why is no one in this like neck of the woods? This is like a straight shot through.
Yeah.
Anyways. So the thing with Teresa and her fingers happens. Nathan does the responsible thing, and he takes his wife to the ER. The hospital is an hour away. This was like mentioned by the mayor. Leaving the 3 kids alone. Ben gets lost for most of that trip, and their dad told them, don't forget to put the llamas away at 10 p.m. sharp. Keep an eye on your brother. Because of the way that... Oh, Lavinia, she also hears high-pitched noises, and she gets really queasy.
Yeah,
in that one
that's
moment,
right,
yeah. Ben gets lost for most of it. There's a scene where Lavinia is cleaning off the cutting board that with all the blood and carrots on it, and she starts to feel very ill. Ward comes by and he's like, hey, maybe you shouldn't drink the water, and she can barely hear him because there's the ringing in her ears, and she's like, yeah, sure. Shuts the door in his face. Jack is outside just listening to the well. Ward goes to Ezra, warns Ezra not to drink the water. Ezra's like, oh yeah, I can't find my cat, but things are weird. I don't think we're gonna find her again. And I think if we do find her, we're not gonna recognize her. Which becomes clear late. In the next scene, there's like a jump scare of a cat running across, a thing running across the road with no hair.
Yeah.
Nathan and Teresa return. This is where Nathan's insanity really starts to kick in, because he sees that all of his instructions were disobeyed. The kids all know that something's weird with their dad. Well, Teresa and Ben see that something's clearly wrong with their dad. He won't get them to leave. They know something's bad. Teresa's kind of out of it. Like we said, she's kind of recovering from cancer.
Yeah.
The kids make a couple different escape attempts. None of them work. The dog disappears. The horse runs away.
Comet.
Yeah. Honestly, good for Comet.
Yeah. And then I think this is the part where he gets the fruits that are like massive.
They're big, they're huge. Beautiful. Yeah.
And then he tastes them and they're
inedible. Yeah. He just starts taking a bite out of each and every one, and this is again another scene where his madness shows, where he just throws himself into this flying rage that all of his produce, all of his hard work, nothing.
Yeah.
At one point they start to hear the dog in the barn. All the llamas have alpacas, I should say. They have alpacas. They have fused together in this horrible amalgamation. Jack and Ben go out together, and then Teresa goes to follow them. Ben runs away. Jack trips. Teresa goes to scoop up her son, and they get hit with the color beam, the magenta beam, and it fuses the two of them together. It's horrible. Ugh. The noises. I had to mute it because I couldn't. I like the movie, that there's a lot of parts where I was...
The fusing doesn't happen in the book.
No.
Yeah.
No. The two of them, the youngest son, he follows his mother's fate. He gets locked in the attic with her. But they aren't fused together.
Yeah. Because, they get hit by the color beam, they get fused, and they get put in the attic.
Yes. That's when the scene with Comet happens. Then Nick takes Lavinia, then Ben falls in the well. He hears the dog, he goes into the well, he falls in.
Yeah.
Nathan comes out, sees Lavinia as Ben's falling in the well. He blames Lavinia. He shoves her up into the attic with her mom and Jack. Mom Jack,
yeah.
Locks the door, grabs his rifle. He's gone batshit insane. He said he was going to take care of Mom Jack earlier, but he couldn't bring himself to it.
Yeah.
Finally, Ward and Amney realize that something's really off. They decide to go see the place. I think the order is they go to the house. Yeah, they go to the house. They get Lavinia out. Then they shoot Nathan because Nathan won't let them off the porch. They go to Ezra. Ezra has been burnt to a crisp.
Yeah. And then as they're leaving, the trees swallow up
Amney. Yeah, Ward takes the gun. Nathan was shot in the stomach. They thought he was dead. Lavinia comes out.
I mean, but Nathan shoots Mom Jack.
Yes. Yeah. When they go up to save Lavinia, Mom
Yeah.
Jack tries to eat Lavinia. They just barely get in, and then all of a sudden,
Nathan walks in and just
he goes full cage, shoots her, and then he goes, "They're not my family."
yeah,
In this kind of full cage fashion, and then he goes back downstairs.
gets shot, and then
Then he gets shot in the stomach. Then all that happens.
Yeah.
Anyways, as Ward is returning, he sees Lavinia. Lavinia had been tending to her dying father. Something happened. I think I missed what, but the gate basically opens. We start to
Yeah.
see the crazy world that we kind of talked about when we were talking about
Yeah.
cosmic horror. We see all this crazy shit. Ward freaks out. He's like, "Well, you're not savable, sorry." And he runs into the house. He sees Nathan, and then he sees the rest of the family.
Yeah, just sitting on
as
the
the
sofa.
As this place is getting brighter and brighter, he and Nathan scuffle a little bit, where Nathan finally shoves him to the ground. Ward runs into the wine cellar, and he holds the door shut, and everything is enveloped in this white light. Eventually, Ward comes out. Everything is bleached of color. The house is destroyed. Yeah, Ward comes out, and then like the last part of the monologue of the book appears, where he's like, I'm really glad it's underwater now. I'm not gonna drink tap water around here anymore. I know it's
Yeah.
not safe.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the movie. It only took us 30 minutes.
About, yeah.
Okay, 20.
Yeah. There's gonna be a lot.
Maybe 15 because there was the interlude.
Well, yeah, a lot's gonna be cut out. There's just a lot of ADHD going on here.
Yes. One of those nights.
One of those nights, for sure.
Should I just give a quick synopsis of the book? The main points of
Yeah,
difference?
the main points of difference.
Okay, so the original story, the one that was written in, I don't know, the fucking 30s?
Something like that.
The idea behind the story in the 30s is these scientists have come in and they're going to build the dam. Like I was saying, they notice that there's this road that goes way faster and it's way straighter, but everyone in town takes the winding scenic route. They ask everyone in town. No one in town wants to talk about it because it's traumatic. Finally, they go to this old man. His name's Amney Pierce. Amney tells the story about, 20 years ago. He had this buddy. His name was Nahum. I think it was Nahum Gardner. His family, they were... a meteor crashed, and over the course, I think it was like 5-10 years, he got great produce at first. These beautiful flowers no one had ever seen before. His life was so successful. But then the madness starts kicking in. His wife can't stop screaming, and Nahum can't take it, so he locks her in one of the attic bedrooms. Then his youngest goes, so he locks him up too. His oldest boy gets lost in the woods, and the middle boy now lives in the well. And Amney, he keeps telling Nahum from the beginning, you need to get out, you need to get out, you need to get out. The scientists had taken the color, the meteor, and they were doing these experiments on it. And every time they were thinking they were getting somewhere, they didn't. And it just kept shrinking and shrinking with no explanation, and it was obscenely hot. No matter what they did, it just kept shrinking and disappearing. They couldn't understand it. Finally, one day, Amney comes to the house. Nahum's lost it. Amney has to go upstairs. Amney was the one to kill the wife. I think the boy had already died at this point, and the color did descend, and all the men pieced the fuck out. They didn't wait in the wine cellar.
Okay. But
that's the main.
All the men? Or
yes, Amney came to the place with like the sheriff and a couple other people to rescue Nahum and his family.
Did they rescue Nahum or no?
No, Nahum died.
Okay. So the whole Gardner family died.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
As episode says, please.
Me go first?
Absolutely, my jaw hurts.
Oh. Honestly, I watched this movie like 3 weeks ago. What I liked about the movie, again, the magenta color.
Yeah.
Very very good choice to pick a color that doesn't quite exist.
Mm-hmm. It fits the vibe.
Yeah, and from what I remember when I first watched it in theaters, I think I watched it with this boy.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Hector didn't see it.
Hector didn't see it.
No, he and I saw it together for the first time. We rented it from the library.
Then either I watched it alone or I watched it with a different friend in theaters in Cinema 21. Pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
From what I remember that I had just gotten the
The Lovecraft itch.
Yeah, the Lovecraft itch, and like I had the whole like Lovecraft collection on my Kindle, and I had just read the story,
Mm-hmm.
and then the movie came out, and I remember I did like the adaptation was good. There were some things that were, I mean, it was told wildly different.
Yeah. Well, because the original story is a flashback from Amni.
Yeah, and that's like most of his stories are like that. Lovecraft is just, I mean,
a lot of it's like from the survivors.
Like years down the line after
Mhm.
it already happened. But again, this is a movie, so I mean, it is told as a flashback either way.
Because Ward is older.
Yeah, Ward is older, telling the story. Honestly, the Nicolas Cage overacting didn't quite do it for me in this one.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually really liked it because it fit having Nick Cage there, and when he was overacting, that was the madness.
The madness thing. I don't know, like
it worked for me.
It didn't. I don't know why it didn't quite work for me. Like it again.
Did it feel like too forced?
It made sense, and yes, like for the madness and stuff, and yeah, it felt a little too forced. Yeah, because like at least the madness in Mandy was a lot more nuanced and it didn't feel as forced, at least.
That's fair.
But everything else is pretty cool. Lavinia was an amazing character, in my opinion. I really liked her. Ward 2, the romance was a little weird, or the flirty from mostly just Lavinia's side was a little weird.
Yeah, because Ward...
But I think she was doing that just trying to get out, because she really wanted out.
Yeah, even before the meteor struck, she wanted out.
Yeah, she was doing the wicked thing to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I thought when I saw that. Like, she was trying to be manipulative, which is not good. Anyways,
it tracks with like a 15-year-old though.
It does track with a 15-year-old girl, yeah. What else? I actually thought the wife Teresa was a phenomenal actor compared to everybody else in the movie. Honestly, Ward did well, but like still, she did surprisingly well for such a low budget film.
Yeah,
kind of low budget.
Fun fact: the production company that made this movie was created by Elijah Wood. Frodo Baggins.
Dang.
And it's the same production company as Mandy.
Mandy's a good one. You'll never hear us talking about that one. It's too good. Perfect. And honestly, like, this is one of those movies where, like, I like the source material, I like the material here, but for some reason, it just, like,
it didn't get the Dune treatment.
It didn't get the Dune treatment, yeah.
I think it almost hit the mark. There's just a couple of things that I would have...
Couple of things that you will talk about.
Yes, absolutely.
Changing.
Yeah.
For me, though, I would have actually liked if they introduced, like, or just had like a quick scene of the scientists looking into the rock. If the scientists were able to get the meteor out, and then they just like, maybe we don't need to see them experimenting, but they can come back, talk to Ward about how it's gone now because it just kept shrinking. They have no fucking clue what to track from it. They never
Yeah.
made any breakthroughs, and they're saying that like there's no trace residue or anything, so like should be fine. Like there's nothing it shouldn't be anything in the dirt because like it just kept shrinking. It should go away by itself, maybe something like that. But then yeah, still it got into the well somehow. But I remember in the short story that there was like a color like kid that like came out of the well, and that's when everything started going crazy.
Probably. It's been a while since I've
Yeah.
listened to it. I remember the part when Amni comes to visit Nahum the last time with all the men. He's like,
Mhm.
"Okay, we're gonna get you and Zeke or whatever his
Yeah.
name. His name starts with a Z. We're gonna get the two of you out of here. Where are your sons?" And he's like, "Oh, well, Thaddeus, he went crazy. He died. The other kid, yeah, he fucking ran off in the woods. I don't know. Oh, the other one, Zaddy. Oh, Zaddy's in the well. He lives in the well. He's fine.
It's fine.
He's in the well."
Yeah, and I think it was like Zaddy just corrupted that came
Yeah.
out, and then after he came out of the well, that's when
the color
Yeah,
like exploded and
exploded.
sent everything into space. Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that should have been the color explosion. It should have been. I mean, I liked how Ward walked in and it's just like the family there, just
Mhm.
kind of like unaware of what's going on, even though like most of them have died.
Yeah.
But I feel that he should have like started running out, and then he should like maybe Ben wasn't in the sofa, and then when he walks out, he just see like a color kid walk out of the well, and then that when that thing starts shooting into space, he just books it and
Yeah.
gets out of there. I don't know, but everything else is like pretty like I would take out the fusing part completely.
Yeah. I almost think Jack would have been the one to fall in the well.
Yeah, actually, yeah, because he was whistling in the well, so it should have been
He-
Jack.
Jack was so obsessed with the well.
Yeah, it should have been Jack that fell in the well, and then him, little kid, walk out of the well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because let's be real, little kids in horror always fucking terrifying.
terrifying, especially this kid, because his glass, like, at least the prescription that he has are the ones that make your eyes like super big, so it's just like he looks off. But
that was one of the kids in Doctor Strange 2.
what?
Yeah.
Doctor Strange 2?
Yeah, Multiverse of Madness. Wanda's kids. He was one of them.
That was one of them?
Yeah. He's a really good actor.
What? Yeah, he looked really familiar.
That's why.
He's got to be in something else.
He's probably in a couple things. I mean, he was
Yeah.
in WandaVision.
He was in WandaVision, yeah.
I don't think he was the fast one. I think he was the other one.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's like one thing that I don't know if it's in the short story, but I just remember
You're probably right. I don't
kid
remember
walking
that.
out of well, and that's when bad shit things go crazy.
Yeah.
But literally everything else, it's a pretty good adaptation, so I would have kept the majority of that. Nicolas Cage, with a good director, is one of the best actors ever.
He's very director dependent.
Very, very director dependent. So, that. Because I don't know why the overacting didn't do it for me in this one.
We still need to get you to see Raising Arizona, don't we?
Mm-hmm. And
That's his first movie with the Coen brothers.
Mm-hmm. We also have to see his Scorsese film, Bringing Out the Dead.
Ooh.
He says Bringing Out the Dead, Pig, and I forget. He said 3 movies that he's extremely Leaving Las Vegas. I think those are the 3: Bring Out the Dead, Leaving Las Vegas, and Pig. Or like, and he says Pig is probably his best work as an actor ever.
I can see that.
Yeah. He's proudest of that. Anyways, enough
waxing
freaking
poetic.
out over the one true God.
We would need to take that class, How Not to Be Weird to Nick Cage.
How Not to Be Weird to Nick Cage? Yeah. Excuse. But yeah, that's literally, stuck on that kid walking out of the well. I think it would have been a really cool scene in this, especially if like they're just like completely the color.
Mm-hmm.
They could have even made him like a slightly different color to see how like fully corrupted he is. I don't know.
Or I would have done like lights coming out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's still like the
There's still a
goo is
shape, yeah.
the goo is that. I even think Lavinia being the one to pull him out of the well, because that will come into play later.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah. Ezra doesn't need to exist in the movie.
Mm-mm. As fun as he was,
Yeah.
he was tacked in. I felt like a couple characters were tacked in.
Yeah. Like the sheriff.
Well, the sheriff was Amni.
Yeah. Still, yeah. I would have kept a little bit more from the short story, especially the scientist part. And then to just say, yeah, there's no trace residue, it just eventually goes away, kind of thing. Because if that's what the scientists detect, then it's probably true. But it isn't, because this is weird shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then yeah, just like they build the dam, but he's like, I'm not drinking that water.
Yeah, because there's a throwaway line when the mayor comes to visit the meteor that she's really mad at Nahum because he won't sell her his father's old farm because she's trying to turn this entire area into this reservoir that will bring in millions of dollars in drinking water.
Millions of waters.
Yes, millions of waters. Thank you, brain. Very, very helpful. But they're gonna do like a bottling plant or whatever, and that's why Ward's like, I'm not drinking this shit. Filter the hell out of my water.
Yeah.
Literally.
But yeah, I kind of like the small differences of like adding Ward in as a hydrologist. It's funny, or it's not funny, but like cool. It's a cool, unique difference. Lavinia being Wiccan and like rebellious teenager shit. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
Okay, the alpaca line.
That's another one where I think that was more the madness talking than Nahum talking. Or Nathan.
It's the future.
Oh, no, not that one. I thought you were talking about the alpaca milking scene.
No, it's the future. It's the future of what? What would he say?
It's like the future of meat or the future of ranching or something.
Yeah, alpacas. It's the future.
I think I've had an alpaca burger.
Mm.
I know Hector has.
I wrangled llamas one time.
Yeah, there's a couple restaurants around here where you can get like those weird meats. I've had like
the weirdest meat I've ever had is bison.
I've had bison. I don't like bison.
But it's so tender and sweet.
It was not tender and sweet when I had it.
You haven't had the right one.
Dang, we killed the wrong bison.
Okay. Well, but yeah, that's basically it for me. I really liked it for the most part. Or it was very what's the word I'm looking for? To the short story. Blank to the short story.
Complimentary?
Not complimentary. Loyal is
Yeah, loyal.
Is that the word?
Faithful?
Faithful. There we go. It was very faithful to the short story. For the most part.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Alright. So the only fix that Hector had, I co-opted into mine, and that is that after the meteor hits, the movie should be in black and white with the exception of magenta. I was gonna do a
That's really interesting.
I'd do it a little bit different, but that was his fix, and I thought I would honor that by letting you all know what I will eventually say was Hector's idea. Applause for Hector. Alright. What I liked about the movie. I felt like the adaptation was really well done, especially because the story, the original, like, within the context of the story, there's over 100 years of difference in technology. So, like, they had to account for electricity and all these things. I don't even think in the original story they would have had running water, like pipes and shit.
No, they had a well.
They had a well.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like rural just outside of Arkham, which is a made-up place in Massachusetts for anyone who doesn't know or wouldn't care. Yeah, like there's changes. There's not the scientists that come in. This isn't a flashback story from Amni Pierce, but I felt like there was love and care done. I made the joke it didn't get the Denis Villeneuve Dune treatment, but it's up there when it comes to adaptations. It's no Harry Potter, it's no Twilight.
Yeah,
Um I really liked at the beginning of the movie the introductions for the characters. They were like 80% show don't tell.
correct. Yes.
Yeah, because there's the one bit with Lavinia and Ben where she's like, "Go do all my chores for me. You're dumb. I'm smart." And then he like does the alliteration thing, and she's like, "Dumbass" or whatever. And it's like, okay, well that's definitely there. Really, that wasn't ham-fisted at all,
Yeah.
and continued to definitely not be ham-fisted throughout the rest of the movie. I don't know. It felt weird to me, but there was also a lot of, kind of in the same vein, there's a lot of stuff at the beginning of the movie that foreshadows the rest of the movie. Like, for example, the reason that Teresa was cooking dinner was because their dad had cooked the night before and everybody hated the meal that he made. So Teresa told the kids, "I promise I'm going to make dinner tomorrow." And then there's like Jack at the beginning, he's looking into the well and he's kind of like dinking around, and Lavinia's like, "Oh, hey Jack, what are you doing?" He's like, "I can't get into the well. I can't reach the rope." I really, you can really tell that care was being put into this movie. You can tell that they were kind of building up to a Lovecraft cinematic universe, especially building up to the Dunwich Horror. Lavinia is the mother of the creatures,
Oh.
Wilbur and the Dunwich Horror.
Mm.
There's a couple other like hints.
Might have not been hints, but just like
Like building to it, yeah.
yeah, like, or just like a like how the sheriff's the name of the guy that tells the story.
Yeah,
Lavinia
Pierce.
could have just been borrowed, kind of like as a.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay.
No, because later on, the scene where Lavinia, I didn't mention this in the synopsis, Lavinia does self-harm and she like inscribes these symbols from the Necronomicon into her skin. She's got the Necronomicon, which is a huge piece of story from the it's a huge factor in the Dunwich Horror. She's not a dumb albino lady, but whatever. I'll put that aside. The meteorite, when it first, like during the day when everybody's looking at it, there's a scene where you can tell it looks like a face, like gasping in agony, and it's really cool.
The wait, what?
The meteorite in the daytime, the way that it's shot, the camera is kind of looking up, and it almost, you can see kind of like the outline of a face.
Oh, I did not see that.
I saw it, and it looked like a face in agony.
Dang.
Yeah, very Magnus Archives.
Yeah, very Magnus Archives.
There's a scene, these are just little details, but like the scene where Ward is doing the research montage on the water. He puts the little water in he puts the pH stick in the tube, and then he swirls around and comes back red, so it's super acidic. And then it starts to turn magenta.
Yes.
That was sick. That was just good. Just yum.
Yum.
But not yum. Don't drink the water.
Yeah, if you ever go to, where is this, Arkham? It's near Arkham.
Arkham doesn't exist.
If you ever go near Arkham, Massachusetts, don't drink the water.
Don't drink the water in Arkham. I can't watch the scene where Teresa cuts her finger off. And you don't fully see it, but it's like, it's coming. And it's not treated like a jump scare. It's horrible, but it's really well done.
It's just like, chuk, chuk. And then she's like, dinner's ready. And her fingers are missing.
Yeah. Well, it builds up to it because it's chop, chop, chop. Cut to, cut back.
And it's just getting closer and closer.
And closer. Yeah, it's just building to it. And you're like, oh, don't do it. Oh, noise.
Honestly, I forgot she did that on this rewatch. So I'm like, it's this stuff fucking bullshit trope. She's not gonna cut her fingers. Fuck. Because it is a trope.
It is a
Yeah.
trope. And it's either like they're faking it out because it's too early on, and at this point it's kind of like in the middle, so flip flop either way. Or they do it and they do it in a really like gross way, and there's blood spraying everywhere. Bleh. I like the way that they did it here. I just hated the noise of it. Yeah. I felt like the movie had really good foreshadowing. There was just so much where it's like, that's bad. That's gonna be bad later. Bad.
bad.
Yeah. Like I was saying in here, Lavinia, she's got the Necronomicon, and then she's got another poster. This is more of just like an allusion to the original story. The way that Lovecraft is describing this horrible area that's kind of been bleached of life as we know it, he calls it the Blasted Heath. And she's got a band poster that's called the Blasted Heath.
Oh, that is a pretty metal name for a band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I liked the detail throughout this movie. Like, I think this is over the course of 3, maybe 4 days. Everyone looks horribly sick. It's just like from normal to like horrible sick. Really, very effective in the makeup department. Or lack of makeup. That's probably what happened.
They run out of makeup budget.
Shit, we'll just edit that to be day 1. I wrote this down. Full cage matches the madness vibe.
It doesn't quite do it for me. I don't know why.
That's
should.
okay. We're
should.
allowed. Yeah.
I'm angry at myself.
Also, I wrote down here, some of his rants sound like a Donald Trump impression. There was one in particular.
Holy fuck, yes. There's one in particular where he's like...
He's standing in front of the house and he does the hand thing. He does the hand thing.
Yes! I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, yeah.
And my last, the effects at the end remind me of deep fried memes. When... when after Ward gets the gun from Amity and he starts kind of going to the house, they start doing this thing where there's like the like static in the background that you can see, but then there's also bits where like Ward is moving across the screen, but it's almost like a snake thing because you can see. Yeah, that's the best way I can describe it.
That is deep fried though.
It's deep fried to fuck. Dislikes. First one, right off the bat. The word Lavinia flirting thing, it icks me out. It's gross.
It is pretty ick.
Yeah. He's like getting his master's and she's like 15.
Honestly, like a way to fix it is to make it clear that Lavinia is just kind of using him to try and get out.
Yeah.
Maybe she
mentions Ward's
something.
Like, stop.
Yeah. Or maybe like she mentions it at one point that like, oh, this dude could be my way out, and then she starts flirting. Yeah,
like she's video calling her friend, and she's like, "No, I don't like him. Ew, he's like super old. He's 26."
Yeah, he's 26. No, I just want to like make him think so that
he's got a fucking truck. I can get out of here. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I would just like no. Their relationship, if you can call it that, is strictly platonic. They're like,
yeah, make it more kind of like I think
like a
to keep their relationship still like a thing, just to make it more like banter.
Yeah. No, I like that. Yeah. I even disliked the mom's madness. You can first really see it when she's being weird about Lavinia's sexuality, and it's kind of too tropey for me.
Yeah.
It's always the slut shaming.
Oh.
Always
is, yeah.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Even in Cabin in the Woods, they make the reference of it. It has to be the virgin who survives.
Yeah. And the they call the other woman the whore, right? The whore archetype.
Mm-hmm.
And they use that word.
Yeah. Yeah. Gross.
The fool, the whore, it's not the jock, it's like the strong man or something like that.
Mm.
And then the final girl, the virgin. But she's not. In Cabin in the Woods, she's not.
Whoop.
but they had to play with the rules to appease the
Yeah.
sleeping
Mhm.
one.
I thought it was weird that the family were the only ones smelling the foul odor. Dipping into my fixes, I would switch it around. I would make it so that they're not smelling a foul odor. Everyone
But
else,
everyone else is.
because that makes sense.
That does make sense, actually. Yeah, that makes more sense than the family.
I didn't like the random jump scare bullshit with Ward in the Woods. It kind of felt like, it just felt like, what is this? This is nothing to do with the actual like.
It kind of killed the like dread it was building. Honestly,
yeah. The CGI, especially with G-Spot in that one bit where he's running across the road, that was a little. The lighting was a little off on that one. There were times where Ward felt inserted into the story in unnatural ways. Yeah, I was mentioning the original side is Amni, and the original version, it went over a year. I thought it was a couple years. No, this was a full year. Where in the version that we're seeing, like I said, it was 3 days. So it was very slow and gradual, like a frog in a boiling pot. You don't put a frog in boiling water, a frog's gonna jump out. You put a frog in room temperature water.
You slowly heat it up.
Exactly.
They still feel the boiling water, though.
Yeah, but they won't get out until it's too late.
Yeah. Well, they won't attempt to get out.
Yes. Put the lid on.
Alright, yeah, just put the fucking lid on. Just.
Ezra also felt like a weird insert, and even in a way, so did the sheriff, because he's supposed to be Amni, but he's not really Amni. Yeah. There's a quick turn in the characters, except for Nathan, because he doesn't really get this moment of something's off to it's got the dog, and then it's gonna get us too. Self-harm bad.
Self-harm bad.
Self-harm bad.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Please.
Please. Talk to someone.
We care about you.
Or go to a therapist.
Yeah.
If you have that access.
Yeah. There are still crisis lines. If
There's
you don't
still
have
crisis lines, yes.
Yes. I have one more that I wrote down, and then I have one like kind of overarching thing. Last one I've written down. I have mixed feelings about Lavinia being the conduit / gate, and I guess this is more of a dislike of myself because I'm not sure if this is like being. On the one hand, it's not faithful to both Color Out of Space and Dunwich Horror. Lavinia was such like a minor character, but at the same time, sexism. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're just conflicted about Lavinia being the gate.
Yeah, because if she's the gate, why does she end up birthing? Again, I'm pretty sure. I think that I saw that the director guy said that he wanted to do Dunwich Horror next. If he ever gets to do it. It's
Which he definitely did not get to do it.
Yeah. But you get what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Like
I mean, she could have been the gate, and she could have survived, and then that could have led to the Dunwich Horror, kind of connecting those two.
maybe, yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm not being open-minded enough. This is whatever. My last thing, I don't think this is a fault to the adaptation. Like I was saying earlier, this is a adaptation of a story where the technology is it's got 100 years difference to our own. There wouldn't be electricity, there wouldn't be running water, there wouldn't be any of the modern comforts, but it felt like the madness, it felt like all the abilities of the color didn't make sense together. I felt like they should have just stuck with this thing is water-based. Don't have it affect the electronics at all. Or at least not in the way that it did. I don't think it just felt like it was kind of...
Yeah.
The powers of the thing weren't established. Not that it's like
an
unknowable thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I guess.
It could be an unknowable thing, but still have like...
limitations on what it can affect.
Yeah. Like, if it's going to affect the electricity, what I would say is it's strategically always leaking on the router, and it's always short-circuiting the router. It's always kind of affecting the breaker. The
breakers.
Breaker, yeah. It's like just every time, like Ben, when he's getting lost, we see him. He's got like a he doesn't have a water bottle. He's got a canteen, a classic canteen that he was filling up from the well. Because his madness, we never see it associated with water. Everyone else, I think we see it associated with water once. I would have made it
That is true, yeah.
a lot more hydro-based.
Especially with a hydrologist.
Exactly, with a hydrologist!
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't think about how it was also. I mean, it was just affecting everything. I took it more as like an annihilation kind of creature.
Yeah.
Where it just kind of just does things to things.
Yeah.
There's no rhyme or reason to
just
anything.
Things to things.
Yeah. I mean, it turned some people into plants, and it made a crocodile just gigantic. And
you're talking about annihilation. Yeah. It took me a second. But like in this one, it like we can list off like it fucks with the electricity. It fuses things together. It radiation burns other things.
It makes the plants grow super big. It fucks with
but makes them inedible. Yeah,
it makes them inedible. It fucks with how insects look.
It gives them raspberry eyes.
Raspberries.
It makes Nick Cage go crazy, but not in a cool way.
Not in a cool way.
Oh, it sucks all the water out of Ezra, and then it bombs the house with light. Out of Ezra's mind.
That is right! Stupid. But, wait, oh yeah, and Ezra said that he drinks the water, drinks the water from there regularly.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have made the whole thing hydro-based.
Hydro-based only.
Let me see. I didn't write down my actual fixes. So, hydro-based, I would have either made Lavinia and Ward super aggressively platonic. Aggressively platonic.
Did you mention about Hector's fix?
Yes.
Did you already mention that in your fixes?
No, I did not. Thank you. What I would have happen, the meteor comes out of space. It's magenta. Every time we see some color fuckery, every time the color affects something, desaturate.
Desaturate the color or everything else?
Everything else but the color. Just slowly. Like, have you ever seen those memes of like a blank movie, but every time something happens, it gets
faster, or something happens. Yeah.
So every time some color fuckery happens, the saturation goes from like 100, 95, 90, 85, 80, all the way down until it's black and white and the color, with the final showdown.
There's a Anne Frank movie that did the same thing. As soon as they start getting into, as soon as they're caught, it gets more and more saturated.
Desaturated, man?
Desaturated. I didn't realize it went black and white until the very end.
Oh shit.
And the teacher even told us it was going to happen, we all forgot. Sorry to bring Anne Frank into this, but...
No. It's good.
It's a good technique when you use it well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually a really good idea. I like that.
Credit goes to my lovely husband.
Slowly losing the color over time.
Yeah.
As the fuckery keeps going on.
Mm-hmm. Because they're losing their grip on reality.
Yeah.
Let me see, what else? I almost want to make it a little closer to the original, where this is a thing that's just slowly going over the course of the year. I think I'd want to follow Ward more. I wouldn't, because what I'd want to have happen is kind of with the short story where like Ward's stopping by, he's like, hey, I'm just here to test your water, you had that weird thing, your wife, she's got cancer, let me just check in on you guys. And
then over time he just like comes back for like more planning stuff or more testing stuff or the different things.
He's been hired by the mayor, so he'll still traipsing around their land doing testing for the water, and he just notices they're getting sicker and sicker, and everyone's just acting weirder, and all this weird stuff is going on. I wouldn't kill Amni off because I think Amni plays in. Actually, I don't know because it's in Dunwich and it's not in Arkham. Amni Pierce is a character who's occurred a couple of times. There's a couple of names where Lovecraft would reuse them a lot. like Professor Armitage from Arkham University. I would think I would have Ward be like a student underneath Professor Armitage, like he's his master's mentor, because that's like a thing. You have a mentor when you're getting your master's.
Yeah.
Or like PhD, I think that's the case. But Ward is like he's referenced talking to Professor Armitage. Actually, no, he wouldn't, because Armitage, I think he's like he's a language guy or a literature guy, because he knows about the Necronomicon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'd want it to be a much more of a slow burn. I don't know. Yeah.
It'd be. I feel that would be hard in. Well,
Because
it
Paranormal
wouldn't be
Activity
actually.
did it, right?
Yeah. Other movies did it like spanned over years as well.
Yeah.
Also.
The Shining, well, not years, but Shining did it for a couple months.
Yeah, and the movie I think came up with or just thought of was Oppenheimer. That took place over several years.
Decades, yeah.
Oh,
because it's
there were two like. Oh, I guess they do connect at the end, right?
Yeah.
It's all kind of
because it starts in like the 20s and kind of the 30s, mostly the 40s, and then I think all the way up to late 50s.
50s, 60s, yeah. Actually, no. When did Oppenheimer die? In the 50s?
Well, so at the end of the movie, they're talking about Kennedy, and he's an up-and-coming senator, so that's before he got elected.
Yeah, that's right.
So this would be before 1960.
Yeah. Before 1960.
Oppenheimer lived till like the 70s, 80s. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Oppenheimer lived until like 70s, 80s, but the end of the movie was like 59, 60, or like in the late 50s, I think. But yeah, I think I'm trying to think of other ways we can tie it in. If we were to create a cinematic universe. So I think there's a part where like there's the compass from Nathan's dad, and I think Lavinia kept it and she uses it as a part of her witch practice. I think that was supposed to be a reference to the Mountains of Madness, like Nathan's father or grandfather. He was on that horrible expedition. He was one of the survivors. So that could be a part of the universe. If you do that one, then you could include the Shadow Out of Time.
Shadow Out of Time?
Yes, that's a really good one. So
never even heard of it.
So the premise of this one is that there is a guy, he was an economist, and one day in the middle of his lectures, he has like this seizure, and he passes out. And when he comes back to, he's not acting like himself. And everyone's like, oh, it's fine, it's amnesia. And he's like, haha, yes, amnesia, I am human. And then for 10 years, this fake doctor is living his life until finally the same thing happens. And the original doctor wakes up in the middle of his lecture and he finds out 10 years of his life is gone, his family's left him, and he's like retracing the steps, trying to figure out what happened. And he finds out that he switched bodies with an alien 1 billion years in the past, and he's like, it's a super exposition, like lore dump story.
That reminds me of the Magnus Archives one with the students.
Thank you for the lesson.
Thank you.
I brought the apple in case you need it. Good lord.
What?
At the end of the... Are we not talking about the same one? The anatomy class?
Yeah, the anatomy class.
Because the professor brought the apple in and it's got the teeth in it.
Yeah.
And John freaks out like, I do not want this.
Yeah. Good lord. That's right, I remember now.
Yeah, I think that's everything. That's all I can
Covers
think of.
everything.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah.
Yeah. Great.
I liked it.
I liked it too.
C+.
B?
B? Flat B?
Or maybe a B. Maybe a B minus.
Yeah. I was between C plus B minus, but I'll settle with the C plus. It's still like a
It's a good adaptation. Like
Yeah.
I said, I'm
Good
just a
adaptation.
picky pants.
picky pants because you really like Lovecraftian horror.
Yeah,
it
it scratches an itch.
does. Media.
Yes.
Well, I've been playing Elden Ring co-op with this boy over here, pointing at him. You can't see that I'm pointing, but I'm pointing.
Maybe you should refer to him in case lovely audience didn't catch his name earlier.
This boy Hector over here,
Mm.
and other friends with this co-op mod that has some real janky stuff sometimes happens.
Almost like it's a mod or something.
Almost like it's a mod that like the game isn't built for that. Anyways, yeah, that's been fun. And that's about it, really. Oh, finally deciding to S-rank every mission in Armored Core 6 so I can 100% that game. Getting through that slowly.
Yeah.
I S-ranked what I believe is the hardest mission in the game. So. Awesome.
Yeah. What I have seen recently, Hector got me a for funsies shit and giggles present. He got me the first season of what is it? Lovecraft Country.
Oh yeah.
So I need to see that. We've been getting big into King of the Hill.
God dang it, Bobby.
That boy ain't right. And my last one is Hector and I today, as we are recording this today, we saw The Marvels with my mom. And I was not expecting it to be as good as it was.
X'd it out.
It
I'll
didn't
believe it when I see it.
It didn't do the girl power bullshit. It resolved the conflict, like interpersonal conflict
in a healthy way.
In a very healthy, easy way. And it had a really good teamwork montage. Which again kind of ties into this good communication stuff. You don't always see that in superhero movies. And I felt like it was very good. I feel like it was harmed by I think a lot of the reasons that people don't hate it, one, because they hate Brie Larson. Two, probably because if you hate Brie Larson, you're probably the kind of person to not enjoy other, like, women of color in starring roles. Three, because everyone's sick of Marvel right now. Everyone's sick of superhero movies.
Same.
I mean, yeah, I am too, but my mom really wanted to see this one.
But Blue Beetle was fun. I don't know why people are shitting on Blue Beetle.
I need to see Blue Beetle.
Yeah. I think if this guy watches it, there's a lot of Latino culture things in that movie that I'm like, yep. Very accurate Latino culture like things in that movie.
Batman's a fascist. I was like,
okay,
does he explain his reasoning?
Tony Lopez character less so.
George Lopez?
George Lopez. What the fuck?
What? I don't know what the fuck.
Tony?
Cut that out. George Lopez's character was a little...
George Soprano over there.
All right. George Lopez. Please cut that out.
No, we're not. After Ruthie's good comment, no.
George Lopez's character was a little although we all have that crazy uncle/aunt. I definitely have that crazy aunt.
You only have one?
Next time.
To
be determined.
TBD. Goodbye, lovely audience.
Bye.
Goodbye. Today's film was The Color Out of Space, directed by Richard Stanley. The screenplay was written by Scarlett Amaris and Richard Stanley. The original short story was written by H.P. Lovecraft, and Steve Annis was the cinematographer. Join us next episode for our lovely Christmas special. I can't wait to see what my mother-in-law brings this time. Goodbye.